I want to do a video quickly on reminding you of the fact that when you receive a grade from your essay, initially it's just going to be a point value, 90 out of 100, 85 out of 100, 95 out of 100, or 100 out of 100. I'm not one of those teachers who refuses to give the maximum number of points you can earn. Sometimes your essay is just good enough. I mean, I'm not looking for professional quality. This bird had to show up. It's one bird or another. See if I can catch him with my hat, okay? I almost. This bird will sit on my rim and then flip upside down and hang. He used to. He's looking at me. He wants to come back. You want to come back, don't you? Come. Come on. Come. Anyway, I'm not one of those teachers that expects professional level from your essay. I believe that some of you with training have potential to do that. I believe there's some every year, right? But that's not my purpose in these sorts of classes. What I'm trying to do is make sure that you are in that window of acceptable work. You know, there's a floor down there that you have to get above that, right? You have to get above that. And the vast majority of you really don't have any trouble getting above that floor. That floor is like the minimum acceptable work for college level. And then, you know, there's a range, right? And up here, I think above this would be professional grade, professional level. You know, if you're anywhere in that window, I'm going to give you a decent grade. And if you really just did a good job with the essay and followed the instructions and stayed on task, I'll give you 100 points out of 100. You know, I do not want to force revision in the sense that, you know, there's always something to improve. Well, there's always something to improve with just about anything. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a perfect movie or read a perfect poem or heard a perfect song or read a perfect book. You know, there's always going to be something that can be fixed, you know, to some level, to some degree. And also, usually the people that are giving you this feedback, we don't really know how to truly articulate our sense. Now, I might have a sense that, you know, this could be fixed or should be fixed. But if you really press me, sometimes I will just have to admit, you know, I really don't know. And so I need to back off on that and say, you know, if you had another editor looking at your work or another professor, they might think that's great. So I have to be able to sense that, right? And to play fair with you. So I tend to grade, you know, less harshly than others. And the notion that I have about writing is that, you know, if you really are going to progress as an author, the only way to do it is to do it over and over and over again, and to think about your writing. You can't just write something and then passively sit down and let someone else tell you what they think about it, and then you just fix those changes. You have to be reading. Get out. Here he goes. He's up on my head now. You have to be reading. You have to read and read. You have to listen. You have to watch documentaries, movies, because movies will give you a sense of narration. Style. It'll give you a sense of style. You need to read nonfiction. And, you know, if you want a good nonfiction book to read, why don't you work with me for a year? I know you have me as a teacher here, but just on the side, I can tutor you through some of my reading material, the reading list that I have, and you'll be better for it. You're not going to get credit for it. I mean, I'm talking about off the side, you know, just this bird. Come on. You need to be reading. You need to be reading. You need to be writing, and eventually you need to be submitting it to publication to small venues. You know, I mean, your school newspaper, your local newspaper. Online magazines that need content, they tend to be more open to submission than the more established and entrenched ones. But eventually, work your way up. So that's really the best way to grow as an author. And I'm making a distinction here between that and getting better grades as a college student. I mean, a lot of you know how to get good grades, and you know how to give the teacher what they want, and you're going to do fine in college, and you're not going to grow as a writer, but you're going to be able to turn out those essays because it's so much of a template, so formulaic, right? And you're not necessarily going to grow. So the irony of working with a writing teacher is for you as the student to realize that the teacher really is going to expect you to produce the growth. That's the only growth that sticks. You have to dig it out of the dirt yourself. Okay, so for the essays that you write me, you're going to get a score back, and you're not going to get a lot of comments on it. And a part of that is that's just my way to get through the big pile of grading I have to get through. Just get through it, okay? Just assign the scores, and then I'm waiting to see if there's anybody out there that wants to talk about their writing. And at that point, then you need to email your essay to me and just say, hey, Dr. Horn, here's my essay. I got a 90 out of 100. Sometimes I use a 100-point scale. Sometimes I use a 10-point scale. So that would be like a 9 out of 10, Or I got an 8 out of 10 or an 80 out of 100. And what can I do to improve it, And if that's the case, then I know that I can spend time with you and not have that time be wasted. And I could give you I can start the process of having you work a little bit on that. And then you can submit a rewrite. Okay, and I'll regrade it, and I'll take the higher grade. I don't average them out or anything. I'll just take the higher grade. But I'm letting you take the initiative to reach out to me to ask for the rewrite and that sort of thing. Okay, and remember, for this class, there are a lot of points. So, if you make a 90 out of 100, maybe it's best just for you to move on. If you want some quick feedback on anything, though, please remember that you can text me, call me, or email me. And I've given you my phone number. I'll give it to you again if you don't have it. It's 330-256-1703. That's 330-256-1703. And although I do check my Lorain email, unfortunately I don't check it every day. I should. But you can email me at my Kent email. And that's MHORN3, the number 3. So mhorn3@kent.edu. I check that every day. Out of sheer boredom, I check it 5 times a day. So feel free to contact me if you want some feedback on your writing. Okay, but rest assured that I look at your work. I have trained myself in holistic rating over the summer. I get paid to do holistic rating for ETS, the Education Testing Services, and at that point, I'm looking at the big picture of your essay, and I'm sensing its overall quality. And I'm to the point now, after 14 years of doing this for them, that I actually train graders to do that. So I want you to trust my skill here and my ability. At least I do. I feel very confident about my grading, but of course I could be wrong about stuff. Please don't get me wrong about that. But all right, I do want to say some things though that I think could be an easy fix for some of you. So this, when you have essays that ask for in-text citation, you need to get that right. You need to get that right. And I saw so many essays that did not do correct in-text citation, and the bibliographic entry at the end, the titles were poor. You need to work on capitalizing your titles. You need to work properly, and you need to work also on quotation marks and italics and underlining. A lot of confusion. I would say 1 out of 10 papers actually got this stuff right. Okay, so part of that, you might be thinking, and conventionally the idea is, well, hey, the teacher didn't have all these videos on that. And again, that's going to be passive learning. Okay, I'm going to say to you, hey, the book has sections on it, and when you got this thing out there called YouTube, and all you have to do is type in how do you use italics for MLA documentation, you're going to get 20 YouTube videos all saying the right thing, done so much better than I would do them, and no parakeets in the videos, and voila, so why would I take 3 hours of my time to write all these videos when they're already out there? So I want to caution you about that. If I had done that, it would make me feel like I'm doing a lot of work. It would make you feel like I'm doing a lot of work, that I'm invested in the class. It would be utterly wasted time. You see what I'm saying? And college is full of that, by the way. College is full of busy work that you do it and you're like, why? So every time I walk by a classroom at college and I see a teacher standing by the blackboard with a PowerPoint and reading the PowerPoints and students all taking notes, I'm saying to myself, that's a teacher that pays too much attention to physical attendance. That's why they're there, because that person is going to dock them if they're not. 3 absences and you can't get more than a B. Well, that's ridiculous. That's one way to knock out the love of learning out of anybody that has intelligence. And then my question is, why are you wasting their time? If you're just going to read the PowerPoints, why don't you just send it to them as an email? Save everybody time. And why not, right? Well, the teachers were like, well, I can answer questions then when I'm here. Well, why don't you send the PowerPoint out as an email, have them read it first, and then they come to class if they have questions. Then instead of having 30 people in your class, you have 5, and you can have a much more valuable impact as a teacher. Because those 5 really have questions. The other 25 understood it, or they're okay with it. They have other things to do. You see what I'm saying? So, about MLA citation, you need to go to owl.purdue.edu. Okay? And you need to learn how to make that website give you the answers you need. How do you italicize? What do you italicize? Books, titles of movies, titles of song albums, titles of journals, titles of newspapers. What do you put in quotation marks? Book chapters. The part of the whole. The whole goes into italics if you're thinking about the name. The part gets Roman type. Now, Roman just means the fonts are straight up and down. And no italics, but quotation marks. So the book title gets italicized. The name of the book chapter is Roman font, the font is straight up and down, and quotation marks. Okay. The name of the newspaper gets italicized. The newspaper article, the part of the whole, gets put in quotation marks and not italicized. It's always wrong to do both. As far as title goes, to have a title that's both italicized and quotation marks. Well, in that case, you may as well underline it and bold it and put it in all caps. So why don't we just cover all the bases? It looks ridiculous. So when you are writing in an academic environment, you are going to be asked to follow arbitrary rules. They are arbitrary, but nonetheless, it's part of convention or whatever. It's part of the game, all right? And to make your writing get past the first obstacle and you just present it in the format these teachers want it in, right? And so if they say MLA, you got to figure out how to do that. If they say APA, you got to figure out how to do that. And YouTube is going to be a great friend for you on this, and also OWL, which stands for Online Writing Lab.purdue.edu, okay? And I'm going to do a screen capture video just to walk you through how to get through those areas, okay? But you have to turn that into learning material for you. You got your textbook, you got YouTube, you got owl.purdue.edu. What more do you need? I am actually the lead editor of an academic journal, okay? And I have professionals of 10, 15, 20 years sending me their papers, and they're still making mistakes on this stuff. And I'll send it back and say, hey, you need to fix this, okay? And it is less to do with intelligence and ability and more to do with tiredness, frustration, and laziness. I don't want to say laziness, but it's just, at one point you're just so sick of the thing, you don't want to fix it, just be done with it, right? And we're human, and I've been there, so that's why I say, I'm not forcing you to revise anything, but if you want to fix stuff, you're going to have to put in the work that way. It's kind of grunt work, but I can help you with that. You're always, for college professors, we seem to have had any sort of iota of creativity and risk-taking in intelligent discussion kind of beaten out of us, you're always going to get better grades if you just know how to do the format, okay? And combine it with decent writing, as opposed to good writing and really, really sloppy formatting. So, go ahead. A lot of 90s out of 100s, a lot of 85s out of 100s could easily be higher if some of that stuff had just been taken care of. So, if you really do want to maybe get back some of those points, I'll say let's start with the formatting. Let's see what you did wrong, and I'll tell you where to go on al.purdue.edu. The thing about Purdue, the Purdue site, is way back when Purdue was an early adopter of the internet as far as an institution goes, and they realized its potential, and they were one of the very first to set up something like this, an online writing lab, if you will, with all this research information. Now I'm sure they have. Well, they did it. They just developed that content, okay? And as the years rolled on and the internet grew in our use, they were early adopters, and they did a really good job with their first work, and they just developed a huge following. And see, so whatever school you're at, Kent, Tracy, Lorain, Akron, just go to your school's website. Go to your school's writing English department or whatever. You'll find that it has all of that too. I don't know why they do the redundancy, but they do. We all end up just sending you to al.purdue.edu, but each school also has their own thing. So you might want to check out whatever school you're at. Kent, go to Kent and see Kent's English department's homepage. Go to the library, find the MLA, the research stuff, and you can just see all that in-house content. Okay, but Purdue has it. I want you to use Purdue, and I'm going to do a screencast to help you do that. So, listen, I just want you to know, I think you're doing a good job, and I do want to provide feedback to you if you feel you need it, in terms of comments and discussion about your work. I have so many students that I can't just give that automatically to everyone right off the bat. I need those students that really say, I'm great with the score. Let me just move on to the other work. Then I need you not to contact me. But those that say, like, I really want to figure out what he thought about, this title, or why did I not get 100 points out of 100? Please email me. Please call me. I am making myself available to you. That's what you're paying me for, right? So please do that, and let's start the discussion, and let's move to getting those points back. So, all right. Thank you for watching.